All right. Good morning, everybody. Welcome in. Today, you are in for a real treat. Our final expense coaching call. My name is Matt Alina, and I am the Life Markets Manager here at URL. And if you've known me for a while, you know that in years past, I was the final expense manager. So, final expense sales is near and dear to my heart. But you'll also find that now that I'm in a different role of actually running the life markets department, I can't give 100% of my focus and effort into final expense. But that doesn't mean that I'm not looking for ways to help you grow your business. So typically, we do a final expense coaching call on the first Monday of every month. But this time, we pushed it back 1 week because we wanted to accommodate our special guest and really looking forward to hearing what they have to say. But let me jump into just a couple of things here. Of course, get ready, take notes, grab coffee, get ready to conquer the day. The information you're going to get is going to help you grow your business. It is also going to help you make more money, and it's going to help you spend less money on leads that go nowhere. So we have I'll say a short agenda. Normally we go through like a spotlight on carriers. We're getting rid of a lot of that and we're going right into the meat and potatoes. But I do want to go over our final expense architect program and what that is all about. We're going to be talking about lead generation, and then we'll answer your questions at the end. Our final expense architect program is a program that we've developed over many years, and we've consulted successful final expense agents in the industry, agents that are making well into six figures a year selling final expense. So we are able to help you connect with these final expense producers to get elite training, to be able to get a mentor to help you grow your business, to help you get started in the business. We connect you with proven lead systems. We subsidize your lead costs when you write business. How do we do that? We ask you to submit a weekly activity report by 12 noon on Fridays so that we can see that you're writing business. It allows me then to connect the business that you're writing because it's quicker to see your activity report than it is to look up all of the different records from all of the different carriers. So we ask you to submit an activity report. We provide you with top contracts. You're vested immediately. So your business is your business. Your clients are your clients. URL is independent, which means we do not answer to a higher entity. It is URL, and then our relationship is direct with the carriers. When you're talking to people at URL, you're talking to people who have been in this industry for 20 plus years. I've been in the industry for 25 years. Case managers have been in the industry 18, 19, 20 years. So you're dealing with experienced marketing and sales support staff. Final expense, you'll find if this is brand new to you, final expense is a very simple product. It's not easy. It's a simple product, but it is not easy to do. When you do your production, a lot of our carriers provide you with incentive trips, take you to places like Maui. I just got an email on that just a few minutes ago. Uh, some places will take you up to the Rockies up in Canada, Wyoming, some of the Caribbean islands. It's basically the world is your oyster when you hit certain numbers, and you have different carriers, about 20 different final expense carriers to choose from. People will ask me, what is the key to final expense success? And it comes down to leads. You have to call the leads. If you're looking to make waves in this business, you have to be willing to sit down and call people, talk to people. You're making probably 150 to 200 dials a day, getting and connecting with people just to get them to pick up the phone and for you to be able to pique their interest about final expense. What is a sales lead? A sales lead is a person who could potentially become a client. It's a person to contact. It's a person that has a heartbeat. They have a life to protect. It's a person who might have interacted with you in the past. Maybe they were a business owner, or maybe somebody that you met in the grocery store or at Home Depot. It's a person who may show interest in the product or service you are providing. So, without further ado, I'd like to introduce to you Shauna Thoresen. She is the president and founder of Social Waves Media, and she is an insurance lead sales expert. Before we jumped on this call today, I had a time to talk about the weather and the difference between Florida and Pennsylvania and Nebraska, of all places. Shauna, welcome in. Welcome to our final expense coaching call. And I want to ask you, Shauna, um, how and why did you start Social Waves Media?
So I first started running paid ads in about 2015 and taking clients in 2016. And so I've worked across numerous different industries, primarily focusing on lead generation in that time. And then in 2022 is when I entered your world. I actually had an insurance agent whose lines of business were Medicare and ACA. He came to me for an ad audit, and that's where I sit down. We help see what we can make optimizations together. And he was trying to break free from purchasing his leads from a lead vendor. And within that one session, we made three simple tweaks that reduced his cost per lead by 75%. And I like to always say that that ad audit changed everything, not just for him, but for me, because it opened my eyes to how, in my opinion, unethical certain things are in the insurance world for you guys,
Yeah.
for the agents. It's there's so many systems that are created by design to purposefully keep you dependent on lead vendors, on these done for you systems that if you walk away, you don't own anything of, on overhead for marketing agencies. So I've kind of been on a mission since 2022 of just empowering agents to be able to market themselves and take control of their lead generation. Um,
So tell me, and just to kind of give you a background, most of the people that are on our call today are entrepreneurs. They own their own agency, they own their own business. What was going on that made you take the leap of faith to start your own business?
Oh my goodness. That's really going back. I think I've always had it in my heart that I wanted to start my own business. And I like to share my previous life before this for 15 years. I've just started kind of sharing this at the conferences I'm speaking at. I was actually a trainer at SeaWorld of Orlando. So I was
Okay.
training dolphins, whales. I was out in the water more than I wasn't. And tech wise, I knew how to turn on a computer. I knew how to send an email and open a Word document. So I think that if people aren't tech savvy, I completely understand what it's like to have to learn this stuff step by step. So I started out starting my own business in 2015, and I actually saw it was actually Alex Brawning of Agent CRM. He posted yesterday, I've yet to see one successful business person that hasn't had to pivot. And, and that's so true. I
Yeah.
started off actually wanting to be a dating coach, had to learn marketing. I'm sharing all the embarrassing things. I got into marketing, I really enjoyed it, loved it, and pivoted to start moving towards that direction in about 2017 when I actually started my agency. So that's kind of, you never know what path you're going on. You just have to keep going.
You're 100% right. Absolutely. And you have to be able to adjust and be willing to kind of go where the waves take you, right?
Exactly. That's exactly what I say. That's
Yep.
You're right.
So, Shauna, take it away. The floor is yours. I know you have a presentation you're going to share. And
Yeah.
folks, lean in, take some notes. It's an opportunity for you to be able to save money on leads. Remember, URL will subsidize your lead costs. And um, without further ado, here's Shauna
Yeah.
Thorsen.
All right. Can you guys see my screen? Let me
Sure
see. Are you
can.
guys awake this morning? It's so quiet on the chat. I just want to know, are there live humans out there right now that are listening? You guys can see the screen?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. All right, so here's what we're going to do today. This is kind of a like a little hodgepodge recipe of what we're going to be talking about that's focusing on online growth strategies. And I want to make sure that if you have questions that you ask them in the chat and that this is interactive. So, kind of what I have on the docket today, we're going to talk about meta ads, what's going on in the ad world in the insurance space, because there's been some big updates. We're going to talk about how social media has evolved and how you can use it. I'm going to share with you what I call the PCB, which is the prospect conveyor belt. We're going to talk about what the decision drivers are, especially in an emotionally based decision like final expense that gets people to actually move the needle and want to speak to you. And then we'll talk about a couple of examples, and then I have some free resources. If you're interested in learning more about paid ads, or you just want some stuff to get you started posting organically for free. So who in here actually has a Facebook or Instagram page? Okay, I'm glad that you have one, Matt. Does anyone else in here have one?
Come on, everybody, wake up.
I know. I'm like, let's see, are we awake on this Monday? All right. So here's the deal. There's lots of different social media platforms, and there's 5 reasons why, whether you are find yourself wanting to run ads or not, that I believe that Meta, which is Facebook and Instagram, are the best platforms for you to be active on. One, you're able to build a professional business page. And to be honest, most people expect to be able to find a business page for businesses on these platforms. You get access to both of them for one. You can set it up where you post on Instagram and it automatically shows up on Facebook. They have a large and engaged audience. There's 23.9 million active users in the United States over the age of 65. So there's over 3 billion active users across all the platforms. Thanks, Kevin. Thank you for the response, Kevin. It's good to hear from you. I love that Meta gives you access to direct messaging. So on YouTube, on TikTok, you're not able to take that conversation privately. I like that they have a really good algorithm if you decide to start running ads. And the reality is, you don't have to be tech savvy to have the absolute best lead generation results. So, just to show you what a lead generation ad is to grasp in your mind. So, essentially, you set up something on the back end, an individual sees the ad, they click on it, it'll open the form and submit it right there on the platform. So, just for examples, I happen to have an ACA on the left and a Medicare on the right. If someone clicks on it, then they're going to be taken to a little welcome page. They're going to see the little form that they're going to submit. And then just like that, they become a lead that you can either have integrated with your CRM, or you can go on the platform and actually download your list of leads and already have them sitting there. So the biggest news that's been happening in your world is that in January of 2025, insurance became a special ad category. Now, what the heck does that mean? Meta essentially has special ad categories to protect certain demographics at getting discriminated against for specific offerings. Now, this makes sense when they had it, and it made sense for like career opportunities that you couldn't exclude demographics from seeing your job posting, housing opportunities, financial opportunities. However, for whatever reason, Meta decided to protect them more so, that they needed to categorize all insurance as a special ad category. You fall under financial products, irregardless of if it's Medicare, life insurance, final expense, it all falls under it. So, as an overview, here's what it essentially changed. As an advertiser, you are still able to control the state that your ads are served in. So you can stick to just states that you're licensed in. You can target a city plus 15 miles. You can still interest target. And as of last that I checked, there is life insurance, there's health insurance. These are still interests that you can select. You can control where your ad is served. And then the most important thing, if you decide that you want my free training that really dives into this, I talk about how the messaging is everything, because essentially the messaging is going to be doing your targeting. Now, what we can no longer control is the zip code. You cannot control the gender. And the big kicker is the age. But as I was saying, the reality is we live in a day and age that the content finds the user. So if you are posting something, you want your content, if it is so appealing to people that are of a certain demographic, within the first 1,000 to 2,000 eyeballs that are seeing your ads, it is going to swing and it's going to start being served to that right demographic. So at the end of the day, the most important thing that you can do is have messaging that makes people self-qualify. And then I'm telling you, the fact that you can't control the age on the back end is not affecting ads that have good messaging. If you guys have any questions, drop them in the chat because I love answering questions instead of just sticking to the script. Let's talk about what's working. Okay, so what's currently working for Medicare? I am teaching my agents. In case you weren't aware, I have a course that teaches agents to become fully self-sufficient. And then I have a membership that I work hands-on with them. And so what I've been teaching my agents since I've ran all of these tests, Medicare, especially T65, is using something that's called a lead magnet. So a lead magnet is essentially a valuable piece of content. I'm teaching them a like IEP checklist, a guide for like the timeline, some of the most commonly asked questions. It's a valuable piece of content that makes it very easy for them to say, hey, I'm interested in this, send it to me, versus immediately booking a consult. Now you have their information and you can warm them up through a series of emails or actually calling them to get on the phone with them. For final expense, I'm calling this journey messaging. So this is where messaging, where you're actually taking them on a journey of making them realize that they need it, that they could qualify for it, and that you can make it super simple for them all in one. So final expense, we're still running straight to book consult because it's a more simple product. But that messaging of taking them, if you're just saying, hey, I have final expense, do you want it? Like that's not. It's taking them from the pain point, the worry, to bringing them to how it's something that they can easily access and it's going to fit within their budget and what it's going to benefit their family with. Very, very specific messaging, conditional logic forms, which is something I teach in my course, where you can actually set up your form where it asks a qualifying question. If they don't answer it the ideal way, they don't become a lead. That saves you from having leads that aren't going to qualify. And it also teaches Meta, this person didn't become a lead, this person did become a lead, and it will start swinging the algorithm towards serving the people that are converting. And viewing the metrics and data based on age. So this is about the most technical thing that I'm going to show you today. So bear with me. This right here is a screenshot of a very recent long-term care workshop that I was a part of running. And if you look, when you go over, you're able to break it down and see where your ads are actually served. So you should see a swing in the right demographic. You should have really bad metrics with, 30-year-olds and really great metrics whenever it gets into the like 55, 65 plus. All right. So that is what is going on kind of in the meta world. So let's talk about how social media has evolved. I always like to say, if you've been around since the 1900s and the early 2000s, you remember what it was like before we had social media. So we had MySpace that came in 2003, Facebook in 2004. And for the first several years, in my opinion, social media served three purposes. Okay. For 15 years, show what you had for dinner. Let's see. Keep your relationship status up to date. People need to know if it's complicated or if you're in a relationship. And create FOMO, or fear of missing out, for all of your friends and family by only showing the perfect parts of your life. It was superficial. It was inauthentic. And for many of us, we have created this perception, I don't like social media because of that. Then it got even worse. The next era was the era of the influencer. And it was just like, look at all these influencers, these people that are even making their life look even more perfect. Here's the thing though, social media is now a completely different world. It's not just about checking in on your friends. It's a place people go to for entertainment, for education, for escape. They use it as a search engine. They use it to look up businesses to see what's going on with them. And it's a completely different world. So I don't want anyone's misperception or personal disdain for social media to hold you back from doing the thing that you need to do to grow your business. The reality is we are in a trust recession with the way that our online world has changed. It is information overload. It is AI generated content. We've got 23% of what's on the internet right now is AI. That's just going to go up. And we're in a time that people are shifting their behavior where they're less likely to instantly trust something that they see. So they're going to be looking you up. And in Google's recent study that they've released, they say this is called the 7-11-4 rule. And they say, generally speaking, for an e-commerce brand, for like over-the-counter pharmaceuticals, for a brand like me, for you guys as a company, the average person needs 7 hours of content to trust you. 11 different touch points, whether that is an email or that is like seeing multiple different times of your face or your company on social media, and 4 different locations, which could be meeting you in person, seeing you on Facebook, seeing you on Instagram, getting an email from you, getting a text, getting a phone call. Now, this is a little bit extreme. I don't think that everyone needs this amount, but based on Google's data, the fact is people are not going to just see your ad that says, "Do you want this? I have it," and instantly trust you. So, making the decision to start posting and getting something out there, even if it's one time a week, is going to make a really, really large difference. All right, I don't see any questions. So I'm going to just keep going and pretend you guys are all awake right now.
I do have a question.
Yeah.
When it comes to social media, is it do you find that it is necessary to also have a website to drive people from social media to that website?
Yes. So in an ideal world, you have a website. Even if it is the most simple website, you do not have to have a website to have killer success on social media. It's absolutely not necessary. If you have a CRM, most CRMs have basic landing pages that you can collect information. So you are able to post on social media and say, check out the link in my bio or DM me now. You can take it offline. You can say, if you have any questions, like what's the difference between these two things, like, DM me and I'll be happy to answer you, because the fastest way to cash is conversations. So get them talking to you and interacting with you in some way. But ideally, yeah, it would be great. What's your take on that?
I think it's a good idea. Just it kind of where you made the comment in your previous one of your previous slides about um, people not trusting that information. And I'm finding more and more agents asking me if we help with setting up websites. And we have connections that we can certainly help people with that, but we don't do it for them. Um, Maybe someday down the road, we do have people in the office that can do it. But I feel that more and more people are doing their homework, and bringing a website or having a website gives that person, that business, some legitimacy.
It does. I agree. Now, what we're moving away from in our current world, it used to be important for you to have a website and then add content and care about SEO, which means search engine optimization, and care about ranking on Google. Those are starting to become the yellow pages of the past. It just is.
Yep.
So we're moving in a direction. People want to see a website, but the way you get in front of people is no longer feeling like you need to crank out this long form keyword content. It's these little things of getting seen on social media. And then if you're running ads, people are going to click over and check out your page to see who you are. Um, so yeah, having something there, I find it interesting. If you look at what marketers complain about between 2000 to like 2008, it was trying to convince their CEOs to get a website. Because they're like, why? I have newspaper listings. We got yellow pages. We got billboards. Like, why would I want this digital asset I have to now pay more money to keep up with? That's where we're at with social media. Like, you almost have to have some sort of page, some sort of presence, even if you're not. I understand we wear many different hats, but just something that if someone goes to your page, it allows them to create their own journey to get to know who you are.
Yep. Yeah, when I see an advertisement on TV or whatever, I mean, we all have this little device right near us that called a cell phone. So the little miniature computer, I'm checking out businesses, or I see something that's advertised. I'm looking at it to see the price. I'm looking at it to see if I can get it cheaper than what I just saw advertised on TV or whatever. So yeah.
Mhm. Mhm. It is. And this is something that, so when we kind of talk about a little bit about what to post, this is something, if you're going to the Medicare Connections conference in September, that I'm really going to be diving into. But it's kind of talking about the funnel versus this little thing that I call the PCB. So maybe you've heard of this. This is an audience awareness pyramid. Technically, there's 5 different levels. I always like to simplify things, so I look at this as 3 different levels. So this is basically all the people in the United States or in your states that you could possibly write business for, no matter what line of business it is. There's 3 different categories people fall into. There's a group that's completely unaware. They don't even know that they could qualify for final expense. They should have final expense. They're not even aware that they could possibly not have enough life insurance coverage due to their employer covering it. They don't know that they don't get automatically enrolled in the right Medicare plan, that they need to speak to someone. They're just completely unaware. Then we've got the aware group. These are the people that are going to be actually looking up things, and they're going to stop when you answer a question like, how do you qualify for final expense, or so on. They're going to be paying attention. And then there's 2 to 3% of the entire audience you can interact with and target that are ready to talk to you and buy. 2 to 3%. And they're the people that are going to respond to the, like, if you want to have a consult, like, set it up right now type language. Actually 100% of any ad audit I've ever done for an agent, they're only running ads to the 2 to 3%. Most agents that have social media content are all speaking to the people that are ready. There is a whole world of people that are just not aware that they could even use your services. And so the normal way of talking about building a funnel or a sales funnel is you make it look like a funnel. And the only way that that really works is if you have gravity, which we don't have, or you have a high volume. And this is what lead vendors would want to tell you, just buy more leads. If you buy 150, like, some are going to answer and convert. Instead of thinking about it that way, I like to think about creating your content where you're getting prospects on a conveyor belt, where you're purposefully you can take one topic, and we're going to get into some examples actually, where you take one topic and you can speak to the unaware group, then you can make it where it speaks to the aware group, and then you can speak to people that are ready to actually talk to you. And when you catch people at the beginning of their journey, you make an impact, and you are seen more as the advisor that helped them have whatever aha moment that they needed to have. And then when it comes to the language, the decision drivers, when you're thinking about what angle to talk to people about, there's 3 decision drivers, and there's more fancy language for this, but I like to simplify it. Some people make more decisions based on their brain. Some people make it based on their mind, and some people make it based on their heart. So the brain people, they want the analytical stuff. A funeral costs this price. For only this price per month, like, you can actually save your family and protect them. They want the numbers to make sense. The mind people, it's when you give a mind shift, like, they never knew that they could qualify. They thought that if they had a health condition that they would definitely be excluded. They didn't even know that this was something that existed. You've shifted their mindset and opened them to something new. And then, of course, the heart people are the people that it's emotional, that it's like, if you're a parent, you need to read this and understand this. It's not fun, but we all have to think about it. But in this simple conversation, we can have your family be protected, and you don't have to think about it anymore, or pulling on what the actual emotional feeling is that they have. And if you're running Medicare type ads, or you're making Medicare content, this is how you stay compliant. You're focusing on the bigger picture of, like, the brain, the mind, the heart. You're not getting into the nuances of this carrier and that carrier. So you're still compliant by sharing your clients' stories and by focusing more on the emotion that drives them. So let's dive into just a couple of examples, and then I will be more than happy to answer any questions that you have. So let's look at some examples to speak to people that could qualify for a Medicare product, but they are unaware. So here's what no one tells you about Medicare until it's too late. Turning 65 soon, there are 3 critical deadlines you need to know about, and they're different for each person. Are you prepared for what happens before you turn 65? So I'm not even, like, pushing Medicare. I didn't even bring up Medicare in 2 of the things. I'm just piquing their curiosity. It's kind of the prequel to start getting them to engage and start thinking about it. Then for people that are a little bit more aware, you can talk about, and you don't even have to get into the nuances of Advantage versus Medigap. You can just say, at the end of the day, it's an individual plan choice based on where you live, what's available, and reviewing what's important to you, and always selling yourself as the advisor. Then feeling stuck, here's a simple way to compare the top 3 questions I get about Medicare and how I answer them. And then when it comes to the ready, which is sometimes the easiest one, you're actually going towards pushing them to talk to you. So let's take one example of comparing Medicare plans. Here's how I'll help you choose the right plan based on what you actually need. Now, let's take the approach of I'm hitting people that are the analytical. I'll help you cut through the noise and look at actually matters. Like I'll provide a checklist. We'll move through things. Then, still trying to pick the best Medicare plan. Here's the truth: there isn't one that fits everyone. So while your neighbors might be getting exactly what they need from their plan, yours might be different. So you need to explore different ones. Then if you're feeling overwhelmed with Medicare options, you're not alone, of course, is the emotional. Now let's do the same thing with final expense. What's some content that you could get up there that's talking about that? Okay, so most family don't plan for blank funeral bill, however much price you want to put in there. The truth is there are options available. Well, now it's kind of piqued my curiosity. Did you know there's an affordable way to make sure your family doesn't have to cover your funeral expense? You can have peace of mind for a rate that fits within your budget. And then it makes me sad that so many don't even realize this kind of coverage exists. Well, now I'm curious and I want to know what you have to say. People that are a little bit more aware, explaining the difference. Maybe they think that they're all different. What's the difference between these things? Well, now I want to know because I haven't thought about that. Can you qualify for final expense coverage even if you have health issues? Here's what you need to know. And then here's how as little as blank a month can help you protect your family when you're gone. And then the same thing for ready. The biggest mistake is waiting until it's too late. Take action now to protect the family that you love. Now let's hit them from the 3 different angles. The brain, how blank a month could save your family 10,000 later. Many believe that they don't qualify for final expense due to financial limitations or health conditions. The truth is, and then final expense isn't about you. It's the last gift you give behind. Let your family focus on loving memories and not a whatever price bill that you want to put in. So those are just a couple of examples. And I like to tell agents when they're first starting out, if you're like, look, I want to post on social media, but I don't know what's going to work. You're right. You don't at first. Everyone wants to be the architect, especially us A-type personalities that like just want to build our business. We want to have the plans in place. You're not the architect yet of this. This is a new skill set. Instead, you're an archaeologist. You just got to kind of play around, do some things. I say we all have 100 crappy videos in us. So the sooner you get your crappy videos out of the way, the sooner you're going to actually start feeling confident about this new skill set that you're choosing to learn. So look, I want to answer any questions that you guys have. I do have 2 free resources that I'm going to share with you if you are interested in. I will even put the link here. This is a QR code this is a brand new guide that I literally just created this week. And it is 50 different prompts, where you get 25 that will help you make videos that you're not talking in. So they're super simple and easy. And then 25 that are. And let me see if I can copy that link if you are interested in the free guide. Ooh, guess what, Sabine? I actually share in this guide, when you go grab it, the free tools. I share my 2 video tools that I think are the best for creating free content. I'll tell you one of them. Instagram just put out a new tool. It's called Edits, and it is to compete with CapCut. It's wonderful. It's great and easy. But I actually have in the guide like the link to the free tools, and then also the best way to be able to post easily. So there's that one. And then, so I put that link inside the 50 prompts guide. And then if you want to learn more about paid ads, this is my free training where I really get into the technical stuff of how to run lead generation ads. And it is an online training where you pick a time and then you're able to go in there. So I have them both in there. So yeah. So do you guys have any other questions? That was a really good question, Sabine. And yeah, I really like the edits tool, I have to say, that they just released.
Yeah, that's a great question. Anyone that has questions, please type them in the chat. We'll be happy to get those questions answered for you. And I know there's a like information overload. My mind is going, and just from my aspects, or from where I come from, when I'm trying to bring new agents to URL, I'm thinking, okay, I never really gave it a thought as to people who are analytical agents, people who are um, people who think with their mind, or people that are more emotional. So I'm like, oh, I like how those were worded. So
Got it.
here's a
Got it.
question that came in from Sabine. How do you measure success from social media lead generation without a CRM?
Well, if you're talking organic, well, it depends. If you're talking about paid ads, you have the metrics in front of you. So, Facebook ads serve at the very top of, if you're thinking of your customer journey, they're at the very top of it. They are not the ads that are going to instantly, like, that you will get consults, but they serve as the very beginning point of you warming people up. You'll be able to look at the metrics on the back end and see um, if your ads are doing well or not. And you'll be able to tell why you need to, like, what changes you need to make, what is the reason your cost per lead is what it is. Whenever it comes to you, if you don't have a CRM yet, you eventually will get a CRM. Like, it's going to happen at some point. And getting some sort of a social media presence, think about it as you're laying the foundation to the building right now. You're just putting the concrete blocks and you're starting to put the structure up. Why wait until you have everything in place before you start actually building up some sort of presence and you get your 100 crappy videos out of the way? So, getting yourself out there now, the best time to start on this was yesterday, but the second best time to start is right now, today. And what I find holds most agents back is this fear of putting themselves out there, this fear of, like, their friends and family seeing them. And if that's a fear, that's something it's very easy for me to talk about because it held me back for many years as well. Being a recovering overthinker, I completely understand.
Yep. Annette, if you, I can't unmute you, so if you could type your question, be happy to get that question answered for you. Meanwhile, for any of you that want to come and meet Shauna, she is going to be our keynote speaker at our Medicare Connections Conference coming up on Wednesday, September 3rd at the Hershey Lodge and Convention Center in Hershey. I will tell you that I was talking to some of my counterparts at in the Medicare on the Medicare team here at URL. We have the most agents that have signed up for this event by this time than we've ever had. We're on pace to shatter over 400 agents this year,
Oh,
and it's very exciting. It's a it there's still plenty of room, so please sign up if you haven't already done that. You can go to our website and sign up for the Medicare Connections Conference. You'll see the banner ad there. You'll be able to sign up for that, and in fact, Shauna will be kicking off the meeting. So. Um, yeah. So
yeah.
you can also bring your questions there. And again, you can meet Shauna at the Medicare Connections Conference. And again, that's Wednesday, September 3rd in Hershey. So hope to see you there. And yes, there will be plenty of chocolate. Uh, If speaking of social media, you can connect with other final expense producers through our final expense community page. It's a place where you can connect with other professionals in the final expense space, where you can get coaching and mentorship. You can put questions out there and get those questions answered. I monitor it along with other people. And for those of you who are goal setters, I love having a conversation and helping people and try to hold them accountable to reaching those goals. It's a place where you can get some kind of new, fresh ideas or some announcements that are going to come. They're going to be shared on social media a lot faster than they'll be shared via email. And it's about being a team and working with other colleagues who are also connected here through URL. Um, and let me see here if we have any other questions. Um, Okay, Shauna, you got those questions. So, can you give me let me just, so for people who aren't reading the chat, Kevin had asked if you give an approximate amount to get it up and working. And Shauna, you said if you're meaning paid ads, then my course takes about a week to move through. And ads are up around 15 minutes every week. Um, and for organic, it really depends, but it all compounds over time, and organic helps strengthen your paid ads. So it's about
Mhm.
activity. And you'll find we now at URL, we have a Facebook page for all lines of business. And we have a person dedicated to always putting up content for it. And you find that it definitely almost takes a full time position to keep those ads moving and keep that content flowing. So, got to keep that going. So, September 3rd is the Medicare Connections Conference. But again, this is an opportunity for everybody to be able to um, grow your business. And we're halfway through the year. If you haven't hit your numbers, change some things, um, and take advantage of the opportunities that are out there. And if you have any questions, please ask those questions. If you um, and that how or I'm sorry, I saw Annette's name on the screen. Shauna, what's the best way for somebody to get a hold of you and connect with you and utilize your expertise?
Yes. So I'm going to put my social media handle that I'm kind of across the board as. If you're looking for more free information, I have quite a bit on YouTube. I'm starting to focus more on long form versus what I have on the short form. So you want to go check out my YouTube channel. It's my name, Shauna Thoresen. My website is Social Waves Media, the name of my company. But if you find me on social media, it'll point you in that direction. My website has good information on it, but I don't post blogs and focus on all of that stuff. I put more of my really good content on social media. So that would probably be the best way. And then those two free resources that I shared, the organic one, if you just want something to jumpstart you, that you're able to get post up in like under 5 minutes, you could have two videos done with these non-talking videos that I have on there, or the more robust training that dives into paid ads, then I hope that you sign up for that.
Yep. All right. And again, if anybody needs to get a hold of me, you can always call me. My direct line is 717 216 8041. 717 Shauna, I'll see you in September. Thank you very much.
Mhm.
Thank you, everybody who was on the call today. I appreciate it. And it's about taking your sales to the next level. And remember, the expenses that you incur, URL will subsidize it when you write business with us. So keep that in mind. So yeah, you're going to pay for it. Your ads will help you cover the costs as well. Just get those activity reports into me by Friday, uh, each week on Friday. So with that, thanks everybody. Make it a great week, and
Bye,
we'll talk soon. Bye for now.
everybody.